So apparently Americans are fleeing the United States to come to London. Now, it's not going to surprise you that these are left-wing anti-Trump Americans, and they have what I'm going to say are misconceptions about London. As someone who has to travel to London fairly regularly, much to my chagrin, I don't think they're right about London. But anyway, let's have a look at this article. This is fascinating. It's been dubbed by one Republican with a Yankish disregard for proper English as the MAGA British Summer. It began last Friday on the west coast of Scotland with Donald Trump flying in for a round or two of golf and a summit with Keir Starmer. His vice president holidays here next month. He's going to the Cotswolds, where Ellen DeGeneres is also, and she apparently was just going to I'm just going to run away while he's here. It's like, he's not going to come to your house anyway. In September, Trump is going to return for an unprecedented second state visit. Neither the president nor a second-in-command can be expecting the warmest welcome from their fellow countrymen who are here in record numbers. Right, so a bunch of left-wingers have come here and they're like, oh no, Trump is here as well. What's happening with the administration at the moment is absolutely terrifying, and the consequences are immediate, says business strategist Farron Mann, 38, who moved to London from Dallas late last year. But everything seems to be going great in America. I'm sorry, as someone who watches American politics very closely, I'm quite jealous of how well the Americans are turning it around. But he didn't even move to Britain to get away from Trump. For him, divorce and the chance to start over, not Trump, were his primary reasons for coming over. But with things as they are, I really don't want to go back. With things as they are, things seem good in America, or at least better than they were under Biden. Amazon program manager Cassandra Ganzak, 35, I'm glad these people are here, who moved from Seattle, echoes those sentiments. I remember going in feeling really upset, and it hit me in another way that people's lives are going to be brutally affected by the decisions and policies that the administration is going to enact. Have you met Keir Starmer? Are you aware of what they're doing to this country? Do you understand just how profoundly fucked we are with this Labour government? Prior to the election, there was an assumption that our progressive leaders, our democratic leaders, would help us navigate the political field after the election. And by the time I left, it was extremely clear to everyone that was not happening. It's like, listen, man. Just pay attention to British politics for 5 minutes, and you'll realise how poorly we are governed. It's just remarkable. I'd like to be here as long as possible. Oh, yeah. An increased interest in Britain happened during Trump's first presidency, says the senior partner of a UK practice for Laura Devine solicitors, one of the country's top immigration specialists. But this time it's more pronounced. We've definitely noticed an increase, a building trend over the past 6 months or so. There's a significant rise. The data released by the Home Office reveals more than 6,600 Americans applied for British citizenship in the last 12 months. Right? That's not many. We learned the other day that net migration for 2024 was 700,000. So the gross migration would have been somewhere between 1.2 to 1.5 million, and out of that, 6,600. It's a really small number, actually, and probably not the people who themselves are a problem. But this is a 26% increase on the year before, and second highest since records began. So not exactly flooding us, though. But anyway, they point out that the shared language makes it easier, and notes for most Americans, the cost of living is generally cheaper, especially given the exchange rates. Yeah, but the cost of buying a house is way more expensive here than it is in the United States. Like, people can't believe the price of houses here. It's like, well, yes, because we're one of the most overpopulated countries literally like the 7th most densely populated country in the world. And that's behind like Monaco and like, tiny island states in exotic areas. But so it's so much more simple. I don't have to navigate insurance premiums and all those things I had to pay for up front. Yeah, you just get brutally taxed. Brutally taxed by the government. And on everything. On literally everything. But more striking than the numbers are how people are framing their decisions. Just days ago, a client contacted us, indicating that they were looking to move because of a change in the US's societal values. It was really interesting to hear it framed that way, rather than just, it's Trump. Sometimes the way clients speak, it's odd they need to articulate it. Her observation rings true. The president's name seems to some Americans not the word best not said. There's a lot of things happening politically these days, right? They're saying, I've had enough. It's fragile. I want to time out. Let's go to a lovely country like England. Now, England is a lovely country in the bits that are still English. However, we have some serious problems here. And I don't think you understand that the change in societal values that has driven you out of the United States is also underway here. In fact, our moment is becoming ever more pregnant than your moment, because your moment at least has the release of catharsis. Your election happened, Trump won, your country is going right wing. Ours is still waiting for that. And so at the moment, the left is piling on problem after problem after problem, stacking the heap up. And when we finally get our election, and Nigel Farage will win, and he will be considered the far right, like, you guys will look at Nigel Farage in the same way you're looking at Donald Trump, and God willing, he does something useful. Like, I mean, surely he can't make it worse. I don't think he's going to fix the problems, but at least he might fix some of the problems, might tinker around the edges and make some things slightly better. But the best thing that Nigel Farage could do is actually cause the kind of change in societal values like Trump has in the United States. And if Nigel Farage just happens to herald the opening of the floodgates and the right-wingification of Britain, politically, socially, we're already a right-wing country, then you're going to be like, well, actually, maybe this place wasn't as progressive as I thought. And it's like, yeah, well, why did you think it was progressive? Like, England, of all the countries in the world, has been the least progressive country of all the countries in Europe, compared to the standards of its neighbours. Like, every European country is way more left-wing than the English people are, and votes and enacts left-wing laws through left-wing lenses. The English have been intransigent in their traditionalism, and we have been dragged along anyway. Like, since the end of World War II, everything progressive that has happened in this country has happened without the consent of the English people, who personally think that we had everything completely correct and have done for centuries until the 20th century. And I really mean this. Like, literally every major social change and legislative change that has happened in Britain has basically happened against the will of the people. And the only exception to that is Brexit, which is what we actually voted for. So I don't know why you think that we're not a far-right country, because we definitely are. Anyway, we have a lot of same-gender couples, for example, who feel the US is a lot less tolerant and less welcoming. Oh yeah, well, maybe you should move to Bradford or Birmingham and see how much more welcoming they are there. I think the UK is perceived, rightly or wrongly, as a rather liberal, tolerant society. Now, we are tolerant. We're not a cruel people or anything like that. But we're not really a very liberal society in the way you guys are thinking of it, right? People don't agree with a lot of the way. I mean, there's a reason we're called Turf Island, because you're like, oh yeah, but everyone can just change their gender. Whatever they like. British people are just like, no, you can't. You fruitcake. Anyway, there really is a sense that the democratic ideal of America is on the verge of a cliff. We are talking about civil war in Britain. Everyone in Britain, everyone I know. And I don't mean in the political commentariat. I mean normal people. The guy who cuts my hair is talking about the tension in the air. Everyone can feel that the government does not represent them and they hate it. That the immigration has gone way too far. And the guy who cuts my hair is a fucking immigrant, right? Like, everyone can feel that there is too much that has happened to this country and that nobody is happy with it. And people are openly talking about civil war, like the More in Common surveys where, like, Brad from accounting was just like, yeah, well, we need a Cromwell or something, don't we? Like, sorry, you don't understand our country at all. So being like, oh yeah, everything's fine in England, isn't it? No. And I mean, I can't even imagine how much worse it's going to be in 5 years' time. Honestly, you've no idea. But anyway, Americans want to escape from Trump's America. And this is the thing. They think that Britain is California, which it is not. They're convinced that London is the London of Friends. When was this, like 2000? Like, when was this filmed? Like, it's such a different place. I love London so much. To me, it feels safer than the US, says a brand consultant from New York called Rachel, who now lives in North London. Well, the thing is, Rachel, right? It's not. Like, it's just the knife crime, for 2015 to 2024. And as you can see, it's pretty bloody high. Weird, it's still 10,000 a year during the COVID lockdowns. Like, that's dedication to knife crime. But you say, well, I mean, London feels safer than New York. Well, it did briefly overtake New York's murder rate. So be careful out there, is all I'm saying. A guy was stabbed to death the other day because he was wearing a Rolex. And now in Heathrow, on the tannoy, they're like, if you've arrived and you've got lovely jewellery or something, make sure that people don't see it. It's like, yeah, because the urban youth are running rampant on London streets. Anyway, then you get like Ellen, who's like, I've moved to Britain because of Trump. Oh, it's terrible in America. And this is amazing, right? She says her new life in the Cotswolds is just better than what she left behind in the United States. It's just better to be in England than it is in the United States. And we got there the day before the election and woke up with lots of texts from our friends. He got in and look, we're staying here because they own a house in the Cotswolds. The Cotswolds, if anyone doesn't know, is this here. This area is quite a reasonably moderate-sized area in the west of England. As you can see, it's not in London where you've got very, very diverse areas. It's 92% English. 92%. So more than 9 out of 10 people who live there are English. And so she said, yeah, it's just better than America. Yeah, I bet it's bloody better than America. The Cotswolds is it's famous for being one of the nicest places in England. And it's very picturesque, very expensive place to live. And so I'm not surprised. She's like, yeah, that's just an absolutely lovely, lovely place. But remember, people are fleeing the UK. Millionaires are fleeing the UK. Like something like 10,000 left last year. And so it's like, there's a reason for this. The rich Americans are going to come over and then be like, well, I have to pay how much in tax? I'm getting screwed over just how badly? There is how much crime in London? Things are not as rosy as I was led to believe initially. It's like, no, they're not. And I don't know why you thought. And it's literally, I mean, in this as well, they bring up Bridget Jones's diary. It's like, what? When was that filmed? Like 25 years ago, something like that. When was Friends filmed? In the late 90s. Like, sorry, it is not the London that you remember. It has been heavily diversified. I mean, just look at the map. Like, sorry, most places, I mean, London is 1/3 English, right? Ellen's living in the Cotswolds, 92% English. Like, this is beautiful. This is a slice of heaven, which it is. London is not a slice of heaven, but it used to be great. It's not now. It's decaying. It's crime-ridden. It's unbelievably expensive because of the just rampant immigration into this country. And you're going to get taxed to hell. And so you're going to be like, well, why am I paying so much money to live in this shithole where there's all this bloody crime and all of these foreigners? And that is a great question. I don't know why you are. I mean, like I said, Ellen made the right choice and went to the Cotswolds. But a lot of them, they're going to London. I don't know what the big smoke is meant to be. But anyway, the point being is the Americans are coming, and are they in for a surprise?